Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another virtual workshop. And today's virtual workshop will be covering cover letters. Can you all see my screen? Is everyone on?
Yes, sure.
Okay, great. And you can all see my screen, correct? Oh, oops, sorry, 1 second.
You can see it.
Okay, well, good morning. My name is Ivy, and I am the content developer here at BAG, and basically I'm in charge of creating the workshops for you guys, as well as maintaining and creating content for the platform. As we usually do, this workshop, by the way, is for cover letters. As we usually do, I'm going to briefly introduce what BAG is. So our concern with BAG right now is that university students struggle to find internships and to apply classroom knowledge to. They usually lack practical experience, and employers tend to find them very unprepared for their roles, mostly entry level too. And it takes 5 years to get employed or even longer to be promoted. So the career journey for students is usually pretty rough and unclear. And that's what we see as a challenge. And that's what we're trying to fix. There are currently 100,000 university students here in Rwanda. So basically about us is we're bridging the gap between the academic environment and the business actors by creating a gamified platform to enhance your career skills and make you employable for the workforce. So the platform equips university students with experience and employability skills to get you ready for the job market, but also make you aware of the kinds of jobs that are out there and the kinds of businesses in the country. So we do have an impact on students. 60%, there was a 60% improvement in market readiness from the students we saw on our platform. We decreased the skills gap between the academic and experiential. And we've better secured employment. We have students who've been employed through us. And the kind of impact we want to have on university is we want your resume and CV score to be high, to also digitize career development programs such as virtual internships and increase your chance of employment, but also get your name out there and improve your personal branding so that your career journey, you're more visible to employers and that you kind of streamline your personal branding. So I'd encourage all of you who are already not signed
Everything
up.
has been put in the subject area and someone clicked.
Basically, sign up with us. You can do that by going on www.bag.rw. Sign up, solve some cases, submit your solutions, and then you will be automatically placed into our talent database. And the more cases you solve and the more we see that you've basically been doing really well, we're likely to call you in and then get you streamlined on your career journey and potentially place you into a job. So we also want to expose you to companies that are looking for entry-level talents. And you can also navigate through thousands of company challenges to solve that also get insight into the job market. So that is a little bit about BAG. I would love to hear from you guys, a few of you, if you could just introduce yourselves and what you hope from this workshop. I would also like to ask what your biggest challenges are with your cover letters. If you have one or if you don't have one, please share. So if you are willing to share, please just raise the hand and I will call you out. Benita Umhir, can you share with us your name or basically who you are and what you hope to gain from this workshop? Or Joy?
Joy, try to speak loudly.
I would really encourage you all to speak, participate. This is also an opportunity for you to connect with other students. You're all kind of on the same journey, and all of you being gathered here indicates that you share the same interests. So please do speak up because the best way to learn is to participate. So anyone, just mention a bit about yourself and what you hope to gain from this workshop.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, girl.
Okay, thank you. I just joined and I didn't know how, I didn't know what you were talking about, and I just heard my name.
my name.
I'm called
So
Joy.
I'm called
I'm
Joy.
an undergraduate I'm graduate from UR, and I just finished my university, and I'm a freelance software tester, and I have been working through freelancing from last year, and yeah, that's it. And the reason why I'm interested to hear about cover letter is that sometimes cover letter doesn't stand out, and um, I really need to know how to capture the attention of recruiters. And I hope to get that information from this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joy. Would anyone else like to speak? Edison? Edison, would you like to introduce yourself as well as what you hope to gain from this workshop? Or Emmanuel? Emmanuel, are you with us?
Yes, please. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Emmanuel Semiliango. I'm a graduate from Kigali Independent University. I graduated in 2019. So, first of all, I'm happy with the back innovation programs, particularly the workshops. I'm really very happy, and I hope they are very productive to everyone who participates. I'm really interested in this workshop, particularly for understanding how to prepare a cover letter. I know most of the people, they have challenges, including me, in preparing perfect and attractive professional cover letter. I hope at the end of this workshop, every participant will be able to make or to design a very professional cover letter. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Anyone else like to introduce themselves as well as what they hope to gain from this workshop?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Nyasarimana Khadija. I'm currently a student in master's degree. I'm interested in this workshop of cover letter because even if we are doing some researches, there are many forms of professional cover letters, and we don't know which one to pick out. So please, this workshop will help me more to fix the normal cover letter to follow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, who's speaking at the moment? But thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, the aim of this workshop is to help you be more familiar with the best practices to have a cover letter that stands out to recruiters, but also remind you of its importance and how to tailor it to yourself. So we will get started. So a cover letter is basically a one-page document that you submit as part of your job application. The purpose of it is to basically introduce yourself and summarize your professional background to recruiters. So it should be on average like 250 words to 400 words long. Basically, it supplements your resume. It's kind of like an overview of what your resume will be like. So, but it's not a replacement. So, meaning you just don't copy and paste what's in your cover letter to your resume. Your cover letter should be like a prelude to your resume. So it should catch the attention so that recruiters are able to go on to your resume. So basically how the format should be is it should have a header. So that's where you should put all the contact information, as well as, so yours as well as the person you are sending it to. And then you obviously have to greet the hiring manager. A formal greeting will suffice. And then the opening paragraph is quite literally the most important part of the cover letter, because on average, it usually takes recruiters seconds to look through cover letters and resumes. So the first thing they read should be of interest to them. So the opening paragraph should grab the reader's attention, with your two to three of your like top achievements. However, also learn to be creative in the way that you word your basically the attention grabber. So it doesn't always have to be that it's just your top 2 to 3 accomplishments, but learn how to express yourself for the recruiter to be interested in you. And then the second paragraph should basically explain why you're the perfect candidate for the job. And the third paragraph explain why you're a good match for the company. And then finally, you will have your formal closing. Now, for the cover letter tips, it should be about half a page to 1 page. Never ever more than that, because once recruiters see that, they'll automatically take it away. As I mentioned before, they don't have much time to view the entire thing, so they always skim through. So you want it to be short and concise as possible. The word count should be between 250 to 400 words, and the paragraph count can be anywhere from 3 to 6. It's basically about how you want to organize your cover letter, but 3 to 4 being like the standard. So if we go back to the format, now the header should have like your contact information, right? So your name, email, phone number, and where you live. And then also address it to the person you're sending it to. So always try to find out who you're sending your resume to. It's usually the recruiter. Try to find the recruiter's name from the company you want to work at. If you can't, that's fine. You can always just address them as like manager, but also always refer their input their address and place of employment, and also the date at which you sent it. So in terms of the format, greeting the hiring manager is also important. So once you've listed your contact information, you need to start writing the cover letter contents. And the first thing to do is address the cover letter to the hiring manager. Don't always use, you want to show your future employer that you did your research and you're really passionate about working with your team. So that's why you usually want to find out who you're addressing it to. So someone in the company, whether it's the HR manager, Google will be your best friend through this journey. And you don't want it to look too generic. When you say like, dear sir or madam, it's usually very generic. So you can always do dear hiring manager or dear head of HR. So when trying to find out who you're trying to address to, LinkedIn is a really, really good tool. So search your company, and once you search your company, go on people, go on the people that work through there and then go through the list and see who's in charge of hiring. So before we get more into it, does anyone have any questions? I would encourage you all, if you do have questions, please type them in the chat and me and my team will address the questions that you have, okay?
Yes.
So, get back to it. So, an effective cover letter contains at least 3 to 4 paragraphs. Previously, I mentioned 3 to 6. 6 is the maximum you want to use, but a good one is usually 3 to 4. I usually encourage 3 paragraphs. So it's important to keep the sentences short so that the reader can quickly navigate your cover letter. And the most important part of the cover letter is the introduction, as I mentioned earlier. This is because the first paragraph should grab the recruiter's attention. So it's an opportunity to show like your interest in the position and the knowledge you have of the company. And so you make sure you address it to the correct person or the correct department. So to give you an example of a really good, to give you like an illustration of what a good intro would be is you want to be creative. So you want something attention grabbing. First impressions matter. So catch their attention. So the number one problem we see with most cover letters is the opening paragraph is usually generic. And when I mean generic, I mean they usually start with, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I'd like to work as a sales manager or as a marketing director at your company. I've worked in sales for 5 years, I've worked in marketing for 5 years, so I believe I'd be a good fit. That is too generic because that's the kind of things recruiters see when they know that you've sent it to hundreds of other people. So as part of an exercise, I would like for everyone to take at least a minute to think about what a good introduction would be. So I'm going to give you all a minute. And think of a way you think would be a good example of like an introduction to the company. As soon as you have that figured out, please do raise your hand or speak. Remember, we're all here to learn and help each other. And the best way to do this is by actually participating.
Hello, can I go first?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. My more formal way of introduction is to starting by introducing yourself, saying like your name, like you just said, and then you go with the showing the passion or the interest you've got to work with the company. Yes, I think that that's what I can put in the first paragraph. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joy. That is great. I see someone here has raised their hand. If you can unmute yourself.
Thank you for the question. I used it to introduce myself by writing down my name and my education background. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, let's continue with the cover letter. So thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for sharing your advice. So a good cover letter would be something like, my name is so-and-so, and I'd like to help your company exceed whatever goals they're trying to exceed. So it depends on the department. So like, let's say if you're in marketing, so you'd want to say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'd like to help your company increase their brand awareness as a marketing associate, and then list where you've worked. And also, this goes into the second part of the paragraph, which is highlighting relevant stories or stats to impress your qualifications. So think of a cover letter kind of like an essay about yourself, but with freedom to create, freedom to be creative with the way in which you tell the company about yourself. So you should start with 2 or 3 of your top achievements. So for example, the last participant mentioned their education background and say, you know, I graduated from this school in this degree, and then talk about like what you did in school that's relevant to the job. So if you were in marketing, so yeah, if you were in marketing, you'd say, like, if you studied marketing, is to say, like, list what exactly you did learn in marketing. Or if you have any experience, list those like statistics or relevant stories. So the second paragraph should kind of be like a highlight of like what you did. So the first paragraph listing your accomplishments, the second paragraph is basically how you achieved those things and the relevant stories and statistics to basically make your like cover letter a little shiny. So apologies. So basically it should look like yes, stories and stats. Does anyone want to share with us any sort of experience? Any sort of experience they think they should highlight in their cover letter? I see Arsene has a question. Concerning a specific slide. Sorry, does anyone have any questions thus far? Okay, no questions thus far. I see, I guess Arsene does no longer has that question.
Yeah, sorry. May I ask, please?
Okay, yes, you can.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I thank you for this opportunity to go through this workshop. And I joined a little bit later, but I was hearing that the way to start a cover letter or a motivation letter, you start saying, hi, my name is, and then you put maybe your achievement, like starting with your academic achievement, and then your experience in the first paragraph. And then I would like to ask, how do you differentiate what to put in terms of achievement in the first paragraph, and what did you put in the second paragraph? Because also you said also in the second paragraph, you again mentioned achievements. So what did you put in the first paragraph, and what did you put in the second paragraph, and how do you choose what to put first, second, so on and so forth? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Albert. That's a really, really great question. Just so we have an understanding. So the first paragraph should basically just list your achievements. And then the second paragraph is where you kind of dive into the achievement. So you basically expand on them. Like, how did you achieve it? Where did you achieve it? And in the how, you want to include like relevant stories or statistics. So for example, if your greatest achievement is education and you really scored well, you'd say like, I'm so-and-so and I graduated top of my class in this major or with this degree. And then the second paragraph, you'd say you would say basically how you achieved that. So like, let's say you did really well on your projects and that's what made you get good grades. Or you say like, oh, throughout my school years, like I always maintained high academic grades. And also with stats, usually the thing with education is if you are in academia, that's the really good, that's when you want to use your educational background for cover letters. But if you feel like you did well outside, so if your other accomplishments were that you were a freelancer, so explain in the second paragraph how you did freelancing and what the outcome was. So like, let's say you're like, oh, my greatest achievement is that I started freelancing business and I did freelancing consulting for small businesses. And then in the second paragraph, you'd say what that entailed. So like, how many clients did you come up with? What did you achieve? Like, did the business grow? Were the goals achieved? And then you list that. So in terms, the second part of your question concerning what do you know what to achieve, that all depends on the job you are applying for. So make sure it's in line with what you are applying for. If you're in marketing, you don't want to say that your greatest achievement was, just like getting a degree in something irrelevant, like, oh, like I was an engineer. You want to list things you think are relevant to the job, but also things you think a recruiter would like to see. So always read the second part. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Sama.
Great. So to answer another question, someone asked the difference between a cover letter and a motivational letter. And there is actually no difference. It's just the way in which you word it. A cover letter is basically a motivational letter. It's your way of showing that you're motivated to join the company. So if you prefer using the term motivational because it motivates you to actually want to express your motivation, then that's great. But they're pretty much the same thing. Okay, and then the last part for the cover letter is explaining why you're the perfect fit for the role versus for the company. So always, like I said, always learn that the most important requirement, always Google the most important requirements for the role and kind of understand what it is exactly what they're looking for. So there's a difference between explaining why you're a perfect fit for the role versus for the company. So for the role, when you're expressing that, you're basically showing your professional skills to convince the person hiring that you're a better fit for the job than all the other applicants. And also, so basically you also show like, yeah, your professional skills, and then you kind of list those. So you have to discuss how you fulfill those requirements that are being asked. So if they're looking for someone in marketing, for example, I'm saying marketing because this is a pretty easy one and it's the one I'm most familiar with. So they're looking for someone in marketing. You would say that you have experience in managing some sort of, let's say, SEO engine, or you have good writing skills, and that you have skills, other technical skills, but also soft skills such as problem solving, or presenting or communication skills. And then you would explain why you're a good fit for the company. So when you're explaining why you're a good fit for the company, that's different from the role because you're saying why you would fit into the company, not just the job, but the company as a whole. So you need to research about the company and figure out their values and see if it aligns with yours. And once you do, and then include that in how you write it. So for example, if the company you're searching for values, some sort of something like, either independence or they really take care of their employees, and you respect that, you would say like, I think, how you admire that. So you would say, for example, I really admire how your company thrives and treats its employees. I believe that, I believe that we'd be a great match. That's just an example. Now, I'd like everyone to share. Okay, before we do that, Emmanuel has a question.
Yes, please, I have a question. You want to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, my question, you talked about skills.
Mm-hmm.
You see, in most cases, when you read job description, you can find the skills. Is it necessary to copy paste the skills from job description you place them in your cover letter? Second, to differentiate the hard skills and soft skills when you are placing them in your cover letter. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. It's a very important one. So it's a slippery slope, but I wouldn't suggest exactly copying and pasting, but finding exact skills and then actually putting them in the cover letter. I say this because sometimes employers don't actually read the cover letters or resumes, they put it into like a system. So the system will kind of read what the job descriptions, what the job requirements are, and what's in your resume and cover letter. So if it finds like matches, then you're more likely to get that job, or your cover letter or your resume is probably put to the front because it sees that there's a match. Sorry, what was the second part of your question?
My second question was that is it necessary to differentiate or to separate the hard skills and soft skills when you are placing them in your cover letter, or just write down everything without separating them?
It is important to both list your technical and soft skills, and ideally they should be separated. So maybe in the second paragraph, you can talk about your technical skills, and then in the third paragraph, your soft skills. But it is important to mention both of them because employers want to see that you're more than just your technical skills. Because it's of no use if you can code, but you can't, you can't present, or you're not a very good communicator. So listing those two kind of shows your diversified skills. So I would always always recommend putting both technical and soft skills. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great, and thank you. And someone else has their hand raised, Indira and Sabimana.
Thank you. I have a question about why you are fit to the position. For a new student, a new graduate student who wish to have a job, he's competing with a big amount of those people with more experience. So how is he or she going to be fit on the company while competing to those amount of competitors?
So basically you're asking how a student can stand out from different applicants who have more experience?
Yes.
So cover letters are usually a way to kind of sell yourself, for a lack of better words. So sometimes it's not exactly about experience, but it's about the way in which you tell people about yourself, right? So some applicants can have like 10 years of experience and they're saying like, I can code this many languages and I've worked in this thing, but that's all they're saying. Whereas a student can say like, hi, I'm so-and-so, I taught myself this. I know this because, I learned it through this way, or I learned it through school or experience, or express yourself basically. So a good way to do it is just think about how to express yourself. Think of if you've ever met someone who's really intriguing, what is it about them that made them so intriguing? Was it the way they spoke of themselves? Was it the way they told you of the things they accomplished? Use that to kind of think of ways to sell yourself, but in text. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Edison has a question. Edison, are you still with us?
Everyone.
Hello?
Hello. It's not a question, but it's like a suggestion. My name is Edson. My suggestion is this. I'd like to ask if at the end of this session, if you can help us to share for us this PowerPoint of this session so that it will help us to get more knowledge about this session. Thank you.
Oh, so are you asking for the PowerPoint? I can definitely provide you with the PowerPoints. If you guys can all email team@bag.rw, we will email that to you. Albert has a question. Albert, how can I help you?
Okay, thank you. My question is about what you talked about a little bit, that recruiters normally don't have time to read the cover letter, the CVs. They don't have that time because even applicant are so many.
Yes.
So would you please like give us tips, like tangible tips of how to beat the ATS, those applicant tracking systems?
How to, sorry?
Like how to get out of the crowd, like how to beat
How to
those
stand out.
ATS.
Okay.
Sorry? I don't know if you're getting me well.
Yes, I understand. So,
Yeah, okay, if you got content, okay, you can answer. Thank you.
yes, so the tips I gave were specifically about standing out and like the format in which you create your cover letters. So, for example, yes, so for example, ways to stand out. You should grab the recruiter's attention. You can do, the easiest way to grab their attention is by starting off with your top 2 to 3 achievements. And how you do this is basically telling them, like, it's basically bragging. You need to kind of brag about yourself in a professional manner so that, they're interested in getting to you. Because, for example, we saw that when you say like, hi, my name is, so like, for example, my name is Ivy and I want to work for marketing. I have 5 years experience in marketing and I can use my skills for your role. That's not really attention grabbing. So attention grabbing could be like, hi, my name is Ivy. I have a degree in marketing. I've worked for I've worked for 3 companies in their marketing departments, and I've achieved various certificates concerning marketing. So that would be like a good enough example of like listing your accomplishments. Then you say like, okay, you've listed those accomplishments, then you say like, this is how I can be of service to your company. I can do this, I can do that. And that's where you include your stories and statistics. So that's a really great way of grabbing the attention, because they want to see that you've achieved something. They don't want to just know that you've worked in something. They want to know that you've achieved something so that you can do it for them. So that's the best way to grab their attention.
Yeah, still my question is not well answered, because I just want, when someone is reading that cover letter, he will be impressed. But what if it is the system that is reading, the fast tracking, when it is the system?
So when it's in the system, the best way for it to basically push your resume to the top is using the exact language that the job description has. So if the job description is saying that they're looking for an experienced person in coding with like 5 years experience with JavaScript, or they're like, okay, let me list them. Experiencing for like, 5 years JavaScript, and you have to be good with communications, and you have like a bachelor's degree. And once you put the same language in your cover letter, that's how the system is better able to match, because then it's showing the system that you have the requirements. So using the same language as the job description in your cover letter would help. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
So, yes. So always the last tip is to figure out what you like about the company and include that. You also want to show that you respect the company and that your values are aligned, and mention that usually in the closing. And yes, that is all for the cover letter tips and writing a cover letter. So I have a task for all of you. At the end of this, please create a cover letter and send it to team@bag.rw, and we will go through your cover letters. So all the knowledge you've gained through this workshop, include it in your cover letter and then send it to us, and we'll tell you where you need to work on it and the best practices, and we'll help you correct that so that you can use it for later. Is everyone clear on that?
Yeah, clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I
I
have
see.
a question.
Yes, if you have a question, please speak.
Yes, I have a question about the format of a cover letter that you showed.
Mhm.
I saw that there is no where you say reason of writing your, yes.
So that should
In
be.
many cover letters.
Mhm.
Can I repeat the question?
Yes, sorry.
In many cover letters, you found reason of writing your letter. For
Mhm.
example, apply for this position.
Mhm.
So, but in your cover letter, I didn't see that part. Is it not needed?
It is needed. The importance was to focus on grabbing the attention of the reader of your cover letter, but also that's how you express it is also important. So you can express it in how, like, for example, the last part, like why you want to work for that company. That's why I said you have to also include why you want to work for that role and for that company. So that's where you include your motivation for wanting to work with them. Does that answer your question?
So you mean that it is not needed?
No, it's needed. It's needed. You just put it in, it's just in the way that you structure it. So if you want to put it at the top, that's fine. Or you can incorporate it into when you're speaking about wanting to work for the company, for the role. Joy has a question. Arsene, does that answer your question?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, thank you. Joy.
Yes, thank you. The session was interesting. So my question is it a good practice to have one cover letter and keep it keep tailoring it to new job applications, or you should apply with a new, like start from scratch to have that fresh ideas? And yes, thank you.
Thank you for that question. That is actually a very important question, and that is a question that is asked a lot. Recruiters can actually tell when a cover letter is generic. So they can tell when you've edited it, but you've also sent it to a lot of people, because people tend to use the same generic language. So my advice would be to, for every job that you apply to, create a cover letter for that. If the job descriptions are somewhat similar, that's where you can tailor it a bit. But for every job you apply to, I would always suggest doing a different cover letter each time from scratch, because every company is different and every job is different. However, if now you are applying to different positions within the same company, that's when you can just use the same cover letter, but just change the roles of it to fit the job description. Edison has a question.
I've
Sorry,
already
Joy,
answered.
does that answer your question?
Yes, perfectly. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Edison.
I've already answered.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Niran Sabimana.
Thank you for the presentation. It was good and more tips to follow. But I have a question. Where we applied for those online applications, where our cover letter will be reading like some software. So do you please having like some hint to visualize the keyword from the description? Thank you.
Sorry, so are you asking whether we should use the same language for the job description?
Job description, keyword visualization.
Yes. So for that, I would suggest going on the job description and then using like certain words. So if the job description is asking for 5 years experience in JavaScript, include that. Like if you do have that 5 years, include that. That way you're better able to match. So pick what you have from the job description and then put it in your cover letter. So if you see that like, oh, you have great communication skills, so if the job description says they want someone with good communication skills, put it in your cover letter that you have great communication skills, then it kind of expand, like you got it from here or there. But yes, it is always good to take certain words, keywords from the job description and putting it into the cover letter. Now, what words to use is entirely dependent on the job you were applying for. So it's not the same for all jobs. But include as many as you can. Does that answer your question?
I'm answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Albert. Albert is still?
Yes. Are you asking me anything?
Yeah, I see you raised your hand.
No, right now, I'm sorry. It was just time ago I have asked. Okay. Thank you.
Emmanuel, do you still have a question?
Yes, I still have a question. Can I ask, please?
Emmanuel, what is your question?
Thank you, Ivy. This is really a wonderful session. I like it. So my question is that can we please also submit our resume or cover our CV when we are submitting our cover letter on teambag@gmail.com, or we just submit our cover letter only? Second, I would suggest that next time we should prepare, you can prepare a class for how to submit, how to apply job through email, because it is very popular nowadays, but people, they don't have knowledge about it. Can you please prepare for us a session about job application through email?
Yes, thank you for that suggestion. We will definitely work on that. As well as, yes, you can submit your resumes too, and then we'll put it into our database. Or if you can also submit it if you want it reviewed to see that it's better. But yes, please do submit your cover letters and resumes to us at team@bag.rw. And I see the last question is, can we bring a certificate for this session? Unfortunately, right now we don't give out certificates for this. So this is just kind of like an informative session. We want you guys to learn and apply your skills. And then once you get better, then we will work on verifying your skills to potential employers. So I would like to thank all of you so much for joining this session. Please do remember to submit your cover letters. We really want to help you. We also want to see that you are applying the knowledge you've gained from this workshop into real life. So we would really like to see that. You can submit the cover letter at team@bag.rw. It's in the chat box.
Is it possible to? Okay, yes, we get it. Thank you.
Yes, and for any other questions you have, please do email myself or the team. So my email is in the chat box. So for anyone who asked for my contact details, it's in the chat box. So please do look out for it. It's just ivy@bag.rw. And then for general questions about BAG, you can also submit it to team or myself, and we'd be happy to get back to you. So thank you all so much for joining, and I hope you learned something and you're able to apply it.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
Thank you and bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Hope you all have a good day and a good rest of the week. We will see you next week for next week's session. Hope you can all make it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Team at back. Team at back.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Team at back.